Last week, newspapers were abuzz with reports on a survey based on National Highway Traffic Safety Administration statistics from 2014 that ranked New Mexicans tied for second place as being the worst drivers in the country. This report is especially disheartening in light of last week's traffic accident that claimed the lives of 3 young people caused by an alleged drunk driver. And Tom, the statistics show an alarming downward trend. That's the part that bugged me. We were kind of doing okay a couple of years ago, and then suddenly we took this huge downturn. What do you attribute that to?
Well, probably a lot of different things. Road rage, drunk driving were a couple of the items that were mentioned. Montana is number one.
Yep.
Speeding is a big one as well. Montana was rated number 1. New Mexico's number 2. I've had the opportunity to drive in both states, and I think that Montana is getting a bad rap.
Oh,
because the drivers,
Nobody lives there.
the drivers in New Mexico, I think, far exceed the worst drivers than Montana, no doubt. But when a lot of the angst, I think, came when you had the change in the driver's license, or the driver's speed limit rather, because it was that 75, and I know there are parts of Texas now where you can actually drive 80 miles per hour. Right. But I think that might have something to do with it as well. People just want to get from point A to point B, but the highway system can't support it.
Traditionally, we get the 75, the plus 10, a little plus 10 cushion, right? If you're really cruising, got to go to El Paso or something, you can kind of do 85, everything's going to be okay. We get fooled by these wide open roads we have here. Well, clearly something's going wrong. Something's not quite clicking here. Is it an educational issue to you? Is it a?
I don't think it's just speeding. I mean, we are looking too, though, at incidents happening in the Albuquerque area. Now, admittedly, there is speeding happening here, and I think we have an enforcement problem, or at least the perception of an enforcement problem. What I've been hearing as I talk to people is their sense is that there is no repercussion to crazy speeding on I-25 or I-40. Now, whether that's true or not, what maybe not so important as what drivers think is true. But I hate to be the one to do this, but what we see, if we think of some of these incidents, not so much as driving incidents, but as violent crime incidents, we always see an uptick in violent crime when the economy is bad. Our economy, I know it seems like such a swerve, but our economy is still not recovered. We still have people who are in bad shape here, and I think combined with the enforcement issues, real or perceived, we've got a real recipe for trouble.
Dee Dee, I'll remind you and others, we had an interesting incident here on I-25 a little while ago with a bunch of kids, stopped traffic, and started cutting donuts in the middle of I-25.
I know.
And we wonder why our statistics are going off the charts. It's like anybody can do whatever they want on the road. It's incredible sometimes.
Well, and I think that gets back to the enforcement problem. I think it's two or three things, basically. Increased DWI. We are seeing an uptick in DWI. During the Richardson administration, there was a real big concerted effort to make that a feather in his cap, so to speak, and more enforcement, more programs, more billboards. Now, we're 10th in DWI. And I think the other thing is careless driving, use of phones and texting while driving. We have laws against that, but it doesn't seem to matter because it's not enforced.
Let me ask you a question, and Dan, I'll put this one to you. We're down to about a minute and a half here. We got rid of red light cameras here. Does that make a difference in your view? I've heard from a lot of different folks that when the cameras went,
it got worse.
Got worse. Everybody started flying through red lights all over again.
Yeah, I mean, I think I haven't seen the studies to say. There's those that say that the red light cameras caused a problem. There's those that say that the red light cameras helped fix the problem. I just think the problem, in my opinion, that we're seeing with the driving in New Mexico is I think you're going to find if the study is done, taking out the DWI that we've known since we were a state is a problem, and we really have not done a good job at addressing ever. I think it's just the fact that there's so much technology now, whether it's whether it's satellite radio, whether it's movies in the car, phones, laptops, iPads, that people are now driving 70, 80, 90 miles an hour and they're distracted. When 25 years ago it was 10 and 2 at 65, you did a better job.
Well, we have to factor in, regrettably, pedestrian and bicyclists being killed as well on our roads as part of it as well. That kind of stinks. That's all the time we have. Join us online to hear what this week's panelists had to say about a business here in Albuquerque that the Journal calls a possible high-tech home run. I'm Gene Grant. As always, we appreciate your time and effort to stay informed and engaged, and we'll see you next week in Focus. Get a preview of what's coming up on the next New Mexico in Focus. It's easy. Sign up for our weekly email at newmexicoinfocus.org.